Coming up on One Central Florida. Ride on a Central Florida attraction that takes you back in time with a taste of the Old West.
We're trying to share an experience of a turn-of-the-century passenger train that was just like came to Mount Dora and Tavares in the very earliest days.
Then, a local organization provides free piano lessons and even pianos.
Our mission is to help underprivileged children have access to music because we believe that music changes lives.
Also, can horseback riding help disabled children? A surprising new form of physical therapy. Plus, celebrate World Rhino Day and encounter two of the huge beasts up close, right here in Central Florida. All that and more on this edition of One Central Florida. The Orange Blossom Cannonball is a trip back in time to a day when the railroads were king.
We're trying to share an experience of a turn-of-the-century passenger train that was just like came to Mount Dora and Tavares in the very earliest days.
Well, by the time you're done with this train, you're going to love this train. This is a part of history. These are real chairs on a real car that used to travel across the Southwest.
The steam locomotive was originally constructed in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania by Baldwin Locomotive Works in January 1907. Was originally built for an East Texas logging company, but was used all the way up into after World War II at the Sawmill Company, and then we acquired it in the 70s and have been taking care of it ever since. The cars have been reconstructed and restored to a condition that would be prior to the turn of the century. So they're very authentic in their nature, and we're happy to share them with everybody.
Engineer Roy Murchison has been driving steam locomotives for almost a decade.
Yeah, there's not very many guys in the United States that can operate a 1907 wood-fired locomotive. There's probably a handful. You don't actually drive a locomotive, not like a car. This is the throttle. This makes it go. These are the brakes. And this is what's known as the Johnson bar, or the reverser. When this is forward, the locomotive is going to go forward. When it's backwards like that, the locomotive is going to go backwards. Steam locomotive is alive. It's a living, breathing machine. And it's hard to explain to somebody that's never seen one. But if you come out and hear it, and feel it and smell it. I mean, you can feel it in your bones when it goes by. I mean, it's just awesome.
Today, the Cannonball runs between Tavares and Mount Dora. But this stately train has a glamorous history. She's appeared in 19 movies. Among them, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?, True Grit, Appaloosa, and 3:10 to Yuma. The Cannonball has been the movie set for a wide array of Hollywood A-listers, from George Clooney to Robert Redford. And it's thanks to Hollywood that the Cannonball now resides in Central Florida.
Back when we did a motion picture here, which we call Rosewood, and that was in the 90s, we were fascinated by the layout of the railroad and the little cities around here and its proximity to Orlando. So we thought it'd be a good place to be, and so far it's worked out.
Those riding the Cannonball get a true taste of the Old West, or at least Hollywood's version, where danger lurked around every corner.
We do have the train robbery. We call it the Wild West train.
We're going to be stepping off this boat take my Outlaws with me. We're going to take the Strong Box with me. Anybody got any objections? Anybody going to cause a problem? You do, I'll fix the problem.
Bring that Strong Box. Yeah, we got the money now.
We got some paper money here. I can probably spend that someplace.
All right there, Shadow.
Boys, they got us. They got us, boys.
We ain't gonna take this no more.
Jailer, it's you and me. It's just you and me, Jailer. Folks, who thinks I can outdraw this dude?
I'm telling you now, don't do it.
Here in Lake County, you do the crime, you do the time.
You know, the good guys face the bad guys, and the good guys generally win, and the train departs intact, and everybody has a big time.
Oh, it was awesome. It was very authentic and definitely worth a trip. What do you think, Zane?
Well, I was scared of the bad guys.
It was super fun though, huh? Yeah.
Oh, it's great. It's really authentic, and they do a good job of a little education session while you're on the train about the time period, and it's just a lot of fun.
U.S. government property.
The main thing that I like about trains is the ability to share this experience with other people and to let them understand the unique aspects of trains and how they operate and how important they've been to our history. I think that's the big thing for me.
I've done a lot of things in my career, but by far this is the crown jewel, becoming a locomotive engineer on the Orange Blossom Cannonball. I mean, when we're pulling into the depot here and you see the kid, you know, with his mouth open and his ears, I mean, that's why we do this. It's why we do what we do.
The following story is part of WCF's American Graduate Initiative, bringing awareness to the dropout crisis and encouraging Central Florida's children to succeed.
Our mission is to help underprivileged children have access to music because we believe that music changes lives.
The first time I played the piano, it felt good to me, so I found out it was one of my passions.
Bravo.
It makes me feel calm, and it's just me and the piano.
14-year-old Ahmad Pinkston has been playing the piano since he was 5 years old, as part of the Steinway Society's program that provides free piano lessons to the disadvantaged of Central Florida.
These are the children who probably don't have an opportunity to be exposed to music. And we want them to have the same opportunity that other kids have. We give 180 lessons a week over the 9 locations in the greater Orlando area.
When we take the kids in, we don't really scream for talent until we start playing, and then after a few weeks you see who's going to stick with it and who's like, I want to play basketball.
At first I wasn't really interested in piano. I was more into sports and I like sports better, but then when I heard my brother play, I'm like, oh, I wish I could do that. And so then eventually I started getting into piano. Then I started playing with piano, and so I started seeing fun. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really fun, Mom. Okay, I want to take piano lessons. I want to learn how to play the piano.
The Steinway Society is a group that Steinway allows Steinway dealers to form as a nonprofit. And each Steinway dealer really creates his own program. So our particular society, my wife got the idea of helping youngsters, and we started doing the Boys and Girls Club.
The Steinway Society of Central Florida has provided free lessons since 2006. They also provide keyboards for use in the classroom and ones each child can take home to practice.
Go. Good.
The volunteer-led organization operates primarily on grants and has received many accolades.
We were rated the top educational program in Florida by the state of Florida, and we received $25,000 last year from them. We have received a lot of grants due to the fact that we can prove what music has done for children. We've been very successful. The last study that we received in December showed that 100% of the children in the program made academic gains. So we were very, very proud of that.
I think it enriches study habits. I mean, where they're not used to sitting down and having a concentrated study time. You do that in music, you have to in order to achieve success. So it instills great study habits, discipline, attention, focus, diligence, perseverance.
Playing the piano has helped me educational-wise. My grades went from B's, C's, up to all A's and 1B.
Taking the piano and learning all these notes, and different beats and times and like time signatures and stuff, it helped bring up my grades.
Mastering the piano can be its own reward, but as with most musicians, the real payoff to these kids' countless hours of preparation is the performance.
Tonight we have our piano recital. We have about 22 children playing, and it's an exciting time. We've been preparing for quite some time, and we're looking forward to the music tonight.
My name is Ahmad Pinkston. Today I'll be playing solfeggio.
At the recitals, they have to stand up and play, and it makes them very nervous, but it develops a lot of self-confidence. How many times does an underprivileged child get a chance to be applauded by a group of people who appreciate their performance? I think it's a great thing for them, and I wish we could do more.
As a further reward for their hard work, some students receive a free piano for their home.
Oh, wow, every afternoon. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm very happy. The sound is amazing. I can imagine feeling it, you know, the house and them just enjoying playing it.
It's very, very rewarding for us to be able to give back through music to the community. I think anytime you help the future generation become more positive about themselves and more talented, better educated, I think that we're doing a lot for the community by helping the next generation that's going to be responsible for making Orlando successful.
Coming up on One Central Florida, horses are big, strong, and beautiful. And now they can be healers too. Also, meet Jahai and PJ, two large residents of the Central Florida Zoo. But first, let's take a look at some nonprofit events and opportunities in our community. Do you know of an event coming to Central Florida that will benefit a charitable organization? Send us an email and tell us about it. Matthew Dunlop is an active 7-year-old battling a host of disabilities.
Matthew was a full-term baby, very healthy, and what we didn't know until he started having seizures at 3 months is that he has a genetic mutation which causes a seizure, some sensory issues, low muscle tone, and some autistic behaviors. We realized when he was about 18 months and he wasn't walking freely that there was something more going on besides just the seizures. So we started him on physical therapy, and they got him walking, but he was very disjointed, kind of Frankensteinish when he walked. And I know for toddlers that is more typical, but he didn't seem to outgrow it.
The Dunlop's neurologist suggested they try a different type of therapy, one that uses horseback riding.
We decided to try it out. We figured it's not going to hurt, and he seemed to like horses.
The treatment is called hippotherapy. Hippo is Greek for horse. Sandra Wainman is an occupational therapist and a certified hippotherapist.
Hippotherapy is using the horse in order to accomplish the goals that I have for the person that, as an occupational therapist, I'm working with. I have goals for them that involve their body becoming more functional. And so I use the horse because the horse's body and our bodies are literally mirrors of one another. When the horse is moving from side to side, then the person riding, their body is moving from side to side and becoming aware of their having both sides of their body. Good job, Matthew, you look great. When Matthew first started, it was hard for him to even stay on that horse and be comfortable. And so we started at a level that the rhythm of the horse was very predictable, very rhythmic, just to calm him. And as he was able to take more, we would increase like the pace of the horse, give him more intensity.
After 6 months of weekly sessions, Monica has noticed big improvements in Matthew.
Since hippotherapy, he's walking better, he's running, he started jumping, he's climbing better, his fine motor skills are much improved, whether it's building the blocks or drinking from a cup. I believe that it's helped him with the speech as well.
Well, I know. Good job. Listen to that volume is better. We have children who have cerebral palsy, who have postures that are sometimes too tight. Good job. We have children who have Down syndrome, who very often their body is actually too floppy or too loose. We have children who are on an autistic spectrum or who have autism itself.
Ella is a 4-year-old with Down syndrome. She's been undergoing hippotherapy for almost 9 months on a horse named Bella.
We've seen a lot of changes, but the most that we've seen is her posture. When she first started hippotherapy and sitting on the horse, she used to be curved. And now, as you see, she's straight. She's able to climb. She's more stable in walking upstairs, and just her gait has improved immensely. It's the only therapy that Ella looks forward to. As soon as we pull in the drive, she has a big smile on her face. As you see, when she's on Bella, she has a smile, and when she gets off. So, I mean, the smile says everything with her.
Wainman says it's not just the physical parts of the horse that make it effective, it's also the emotional connection.
I think the relationship of the horse and the person riding is also incredibly powerful, because that's what really draws the people to come and to participate.
He really enjoys riding on Noah and getting to pet him, and afterwards saying thank you, Noah, and just looking at him. And I think they formed a good connection. They don't have to talk, they kind of have a communication with each other. I think Matthew definitely looks forward to Wednesdays when he gets to ride, and I'm excited to see how he'll keep progressing from this experience.
Say, walk on, Whitey. It brings me so much satisfaction to see change. The parents call us or send us graduation pictures and say, you know what, this person is good in math and it's because you started them off with certain things you did, or you changed my child's life, you changed our family. It's just great.
Next on One Central Florida, celebrate World Rhino Day with a trip to the Central Florida Zoo. But first, let's check out more upcoming nonprofit events from around the area. If you have a story idea, let us know by emailing our program.
Here at the Central Florida Zoo in Sanford, Florida, we are proud to have a really unique species called the Indian rhinoceros, also known as the greater one-horned rhinoceros. This is one of 5 rhino species and one of 3 found in Asia. World Rhino Day is coming up on September 21st, and it's a great day where we celebrate all 5 rhino species, in particular our Indian rhinos here at the zoo.
All rhino species are highly endangered to date, so it helps to give people more of an appreciation for these animals and the need to keep them alive in captivity and in the wild.
Guests get to experience these endangered animals in a very special way.
I've been working with rhinos in zoos for about 30 years now, and Central Florida Zoo offers a unique experience that a lot of zoos don't offer, is a hands-on touch experience where the guests get to come and work with the keeper and get a hands-on, be able to touch the rhino and see actually how big they are up close.
Hey guys, my name is Erica, that's Kara, we're 2 of the rhino keepers. In front we have Jahai and in the back we have PJ. So you guys can come in, give them a feel. You can also feel inside their folds, it's actually a lot softer in there. Wow. Yep, it acts kind of like a friction point, just like the inside of your elbow does.
You can learn about these animals in a book, but it's a whole other experience altogether to be up close to it, to hear it, to smell it, and to actually get to touch it.
How often do you get to meet a rhino, right? Never. These guys, so they have all these folds, right?
Interacting with the keepers is another part of this unique experience.
The one-on-one contact, the personal contact, to speak with the keeper, see their passion for it, to share their passion for it. Our keepers are kind of like mentors. Whenever they talk to kids, they're able to mentor them into a possible career for wildlife or working with animals for the rest of their lives.
The favorite part was asking questions. She said there's 3 different types of rhinos. The one we just petted was the Indian rhino. It feels kind of like a turtle. When you feel the inside, it's very soft, like a cat.
They felt a lot different than what we thought that they would feel. The trainers were very nice and they gave us a lot of information that we didn't know about the rhinos.
All of their nerve endings are really, really close to the top of their skin, so they can feel everything that you're doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is a great experience again for the rhinos. They like being touched, they like being scratched, so the contact is actually a real positive thing for them on an everyday basis.
Rhinos are a very tactile species. They love to get the rub downs from their keepers and to be able to have the guests come and rub them down too. It seems to be just as rewarding for the guests as it is for the rhinos as well.
By literally bringing people in contact with rhinos and by stimulating all the senses, the zoo hopes to inspire guests to respect and care for these rare animals.
That is the experience that we want to generate with the public when they come and visit. It's that one-on-one experience that it'll stick with kids coming to the zoo every day.
They'll definitely remember this day more than any other trip to the zoo, just because being able to touch the rhino, feeling their skin, you know, knowing that it was a lot different than what they thought it would feel.
I'll remember it until the day I die.